Howdy Hive Scum, this is a special one, the biggest and boldest and baddest battle report I've ever done for Necromunda. Henry Cavill, one of us, is redoing the film Highlander, and I thought recently, how would I apply the Highlander sort of idea of there can only be one to a game of Necromunda? And I came up with the interesting idea of pitting all 22 gangs representatives in the form of champions against each other in an absolute battle royale. And that's what I've got for you today. 22 different champions from each of the available gangs in Necromunda, all kitted out. And we're going to go through all of them now and talk about each one's loadouts. And this is going to be a huge battle report for you. A bit of a special one, a narrative, quirky one for you, but this is a lot of fun and I really hope you enjoy it. Kicking things off with the 6 houses of Necromunda, our Cawdor representative is a Redemptionist Deacon, coming in at 200 credits with an auto gun, exterminator cartridges, auto pistol, a Cherub Servitor, the only fighter in this game with a pet, in fact, and he has mesh armor and the unshakable conviction skill too. Next up we have House Escher representing with an old school Death Maiden. This one comes in at again 200 credits. She has a las pistol and 2 stiletto swords with mesh armor and spring up. Say less. The shadowy House of Delac sends forth a Nachtghoul at 215 credits with serpent's fangs and mesh armor and the clamber skill. Not much more to say there, a very scary dude. From the tech nerds of House Van Saar, we have an Archaeotech in at 210 credits. She has a las sub-carbine with a servo claw. Not your typical loadout for a Van Saar, but I thought I'd lean into all of the super champions in this case. She comes with the armored body glove, mesh armor, and the ocular alpha Cybertechnica, so she counts as having a infrasight and photo goggles. She also has the gadgeteer skill, meaning that the pistol loses its plentiful trait and instead gains an extra rapid fire dice for 2 rapid fire on the pistol. For the big bruisers of House Goliath, we have our Goliath Stimmer, this time with a renderizer, serrated axe, a stub gun, dermal hardening for the extra toughness. He's now toughness 5. He also has furnace plates, a respirator, and nerves of steel. For our Orlok representative here, I didn't actually have any official Orlok models, so I'm using the House Grime military attaché Jaegerkin as the model here. She comes with 200 credits worth of combat shotgun with salvo and shredder ammo, a power knife, and a stub gun with mesh armor, Iron Stare, and Shotgun Savant as her skills as well. Very solid indeed. Moving on to our lovable ab humans here, our Squat representative is an Exomaster, again at 200 credits. He comes with a Bolt Spitter and the Mighty Excavator Hammer. He comes with an exosuit as well and the skill Nobody Pushes Kin Around. For our Nomad champion, this one comes in at 195 credits with a Blast Pistol, Long Blade, and Mono Hook. He comes equipped with the Ash Cloak, Mesh Armor, and Sky Mantle, and the Ghost of the Waste skill as well. Representing the Palanite Enforcers here, we have a Subjugator Sergeant in at 205 credits with a Stub Gun, Subjugation Pattern Grenade Launcher with Frag and Stun Grenades, the Vigilance Pattern Assault Shield, Layered Flak Armor, Magnicals, and the Got Your 6 skill. On the other side of him, we have a Bad Zone Sergeant, this one coming in at 205 credits with an Enforcer Shotgun with salvo and shredder rounds, a power knife, stub gun, armored undersuit, layered flak armor, magnicals, and hip shooting. Next up we have our Slave Ogryn representative in the Underboss, coming in at again 200 credits with an Augmetic Fist, blasting charges, and a maul. Furnace plates are his armor choice here, and the skill Naga is also his skill choice. Representing our Gene Stealer cult here, we have a Gene Stealer cult Acolyte at 215 credits, coming in with a heavy rock cutter, a hazard suit, and true grit skill. Representing the Helot Chaos cults here, we have a Helot Disciple, 205 credits with a chain glaive, hand flamer, mesh armor, and the unstoppable skill. The last of the cults now, and the Corpse Grinder Cutter coming in here at 220 credits with paired heavy chain cleavers, cutter's mask, plate mail, and the skill Slaughterborn. Now for the Venators, using one of the new Kill Team models here for our House Hunt champion. We've gone for the more shooty profile here at 195 credits with a fighting knife, las carbine, las pistol, an infrasight on the las carbine, low sticks, mesh armor, and trick shot as his skill of choice. Our squat Venator champion here coming in at 215 credits with an ironhead bolt gun, ironhead stub gun, mesh armor, and the munitioneer skill. For our Beastman Venator representative coming in at 210 credits and using the glorious model of Gore Halfhorn here, we have a chainsword, a cleaver, a shotgun with solid and scatter ammo, also with executioner ammo, mesh armor, and the berserker skill there. Very solid indeed. For the Ogryn Venator Hunt Champion, 215 credits worth of absolute muscle with two great swords, flak armor, and the bulging biceps skill to enable swinging both of those great swords in close combat. Last of the Venators, our Rattling Hunt Champion here in at 210 credits with all the gear and some idea, with a las gun, hotshot las power pack on it, las pistol, armored undersuit, camellia line cloak, hotshot las pack, infrasight, and mesh armor with the fast shot skill. For our Outcast champion now, a dirty Xenos in the shape of a dog soldier. At 190 credits, he comes equipped with a bolt gun, flail, stub gun, armored undersuit, mesh armor, and vast bulk as his skill of choice, giving him an extra wound through the Outcast mutations. We then have our Spyra, and I picked a Malkadon for this as the most sort of well-rounded of all the Spyras. 240 credits with the paired Malkadon Toxin Whips, as well as the paired Webbed Incisors, Drop Rig, Grapnel Launcher, Malkadon Hunting Rig, and the Evade skill as well. And last but by no means least, and the most expensive of the bunch here, in at 270 credits, we have one Malstrain Gene Stealer. He comes with the Razor Sharp Claws, Venomous Bite, Bio Booster, Mesh Armor, Dodge, Evade, Nerves of Steel, and Rain of Blows. This guy is going to be immensely monstrous. Now, I've laid out the board as a 3x3 because that's how many tiles I have. Ideally, I would have liked to do this on a slightly bigger board, as it is quite hard fitting 22 fighters onto this table, but we're going to do it anyway. The way that we're going to do priority in this game is through a deck of cards. I have written the number and suit on each of the different fighter cards, which matches up to one of the cards in these decks. We're going to reshuffle each turn, and also in terms of priority here, again, being a 3x3 board, I had to make things very claustrophobic, so it really is just down to luck here who goes where. But let's have a look around the table. You can see all these cards are face down. What we're going to do in the beginning is flip these over, and those are going to be the deployment zones for each of the fighters based on the number and suit allocated to each of the fighters. Also, in line with the Highlander movie, I decided to use a rule called the quickening. So what happens here is for every kill that a fighter gets in this game, they will get +1 movement for the remainder of the game. A nice simple way to represent that quickening in the Highlander by taking the heads of your enemies and stealing their powers. No objective here. This is going to be last man standing. Place your bets now. Who is going to come out on top in a 22 champion brawl for Necromunda? Stay tuned. And kicking things off down in the bottom right here, we have the 6 of Hearts. This will be our Venator Hunt Champion with the las carbine. Up top on the tower in perfect sniping position is the 10 of Diamonds, and this will be our Goliath Stimmer. Absolutely the wrong place for a close combat fighter. He'll have to make his way down somehow to engage in close combat. Down through the middle here, we have the 2 of Hearts, and this will be our Venator Beastman champion on the ground out in the open. And fairly close to him in a Mexican standoff sort of position, we have the 3 of Hearts here. The 3 of Hearts is allocated to the squat Venator with the Ironhead bolt gun as well. So who gets the drop here? I think this is going to be very nasty between these two right in the first stage of the game. On the other side of him, we have the 7 of Hearts here, and the 7 of Hearts is going to be our Venator Ogryn now as well, with the 2 great swords. This guy is such a great model. I love this conversion. Shout out to Hive Market Minis for the awesome conversion. In the middle of the ruin tile, we then have a 10 of Hearts, which is allocated to the Gene Stealer Cult Acolyte with the heavy rock cutter. And over on the far left of this side, we have the 8 of Hearts, which is our Venator rattling champion here as well. And on the left hand middle here, the 3 of diamonds is flipped over, and this is allocated to the very, very scary Malstrain Gene Stealer. Up in the shrine, it would be fitting to get the Redemptionist Deacon here, but we get the 5 of diamonds, which is quite the opposite in the Corpse Grinder Cutter. Heading towards the top of the left side here, we get the House Orlok Arms Master. Up the top of the bar tile here on the bridge, we have the Jack of Diamonds, and this is allocated to our House Vansar Archaeotech. Underneath her at ground level, we have the 5 of Hearts, and this goes to the Enforcer Subjugator Sergeant here. Into the middle tile on the top of the elevator here, we have the Ace of Hearts, and this will be allocated to our Redemptionist Deacon and his little cherub pet. Underneath the bridge now, we have the Jack of Hearts, and this will be allocated to our Squat Exomaster. On the other side of the wall there, we have the 9 of Hearts, and this one is allocated to the Spyra Malkadon now. Over here we have the 8 of Diamonds, and the 8 of Diamonds is going to be allocated to the Escher Death Maiden. In the right middle now, we have the Helot Cult Disciple. And just around the pipe from him, the 6 of Diamonds is allocated to the Ash Waste Nomad representative. Just around on the other side of the door from him, we have the Ace of Diamonds, and this one is going to be our Bad Zone Sergeant. In the middle top now, we have the 4 of Hearts, and this will be our Outcast Champion. And last but by no means least, over here we have the 2 of Diamonds, which is going to be our Ogryn Champion as well. Now, I didn't give anyone the infiltrate skill, and everybody has got entirely different skills, but the Nacht Ghoul, I'm going to use his special rule, but make sure that he comes in at the end of turn 1. He can't come in any later, but it would be sad not to use his special ability here. So the board is set, all of our fighters are down on the table. No one is in charge range, I don't think, and we are going to kick things off with priority. I've shuffled the deck of cards here. Again, each of these is allocated to a set fighter card, so each one I pull, I'm going to look up the fighter card, and we're going to go in the order that I draw these cards in. Good luck to the champions. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to be the top 3 by the end of this. And first up in this Battle Royale, we have the 7 of Hearts. The 7 of Hearts is the first to go, and it is the Ogryn Hunt Champion now. The Ogryn Hunt Champion decides to move into a central position on the board. He is not scared of anybody. Next up, we have the 2 of Diamonds. The 2 of Diamonds is the Ogryn Underboss. The Ogryn Underboss does the same as his Ogryn brother by going move up to the door next to the Bad Zone Enforcer. We then have the Jack of Hearts drawn. The Jack of Hearts is the Squat Exomaster. The Squat Exomaster takes a move out from under the bridge now and levels his Bolt Spitter at the Venator Ogryn Champion. Right in the open here, and he hits for 2 shots on this Ogryn Champion. Pinning the Ogryn, we now need to roll to wound on a 5, and one of them will go through. At -1 AP on the Bolt Spitter, a wound is taken, and we have first blood of the game. Next up, we have the 5 of Diamonds. And the 5 of Diamonds goes to the Corpse Grinder Cutter. The Corpse Grinder is actually at maximum charge range here. If he gets lucky and rolls a 5 or 6 on the D3, we are in there like swimwear. Let's see what we get here. And of course, the Corpse Grinder is going to get the first charge in of the game onto the Orlok Arms Master. Now, it's worth noting the Arms Master's skill of Iron Stare can't be used here because there was no line of sight. 6 attacks now hitting on 3s, and 5 of these will go through. 3 of these will now wound. And at -2 AP, it doesn't matter how many wounds you have. This is a whopping 6 damage with Sever, and we have our first casualty of the game, the Orlok Arms Master. And the Corpse Grinder Cutter gains a quickening token, gaining +1 to his move. It's also worth mentioning, with his Slaughterborn skill, he's now plus several movement on top of that too. Next up, we have the 6 of Hearts. The 6 of Hearts goes to our Venator Hunt Champion now. The Venator Hunt Champion is going to move up to the top of the stairs. Next up, we have the 3 of Hearts. The 3 of Hearts is the Squat Hunt Champion over through the middle here. Our Squat Hunt Champion elects to move forward 4 inches and unload with his Squat bolt gun here. The 2 rapid fire bolt gun aimed at the Venator Beastman. His brother here, he's going to be hitting on 3s here, in fact 2s because of close range, and this is a whopping 4 shots. Now we're going to be wounding on 4s this time, and 3 of these will go through at -1 on the armor. We now have some saves to make. 1 of them is saved, however 2 of these will go through for 2 damage apiece. We now roll injury. 3 injury dice, and the Beastman Venator is the second casualty of the game. A quickening token going to our squat Venator. This is brutal already. And the 4 of diamonds is turned over for the next fighter to go. And we have the Helot Disciple. The Helot Disciple elects to go for a little jog, moving 10 inches up the stairs into a more central position. We then have the 8 of diamonds. The 8 of diamonds is our Escher Death Maiden. Now she can get a charge off here on the Spira if she rolls high as well. Unfortunately, she is just 1 inch short. Unlucky for the Death Maiden. Next up, we have the Ace of Diamonds. The Ace of Diamonds is the Bad Zone Sergeant. Our Bad Zone Goat Sergeant decides to open the door with his first action and then use his shotgun at close range in the face of the Ogryn champion. Now, hitting with 3 shredder rounds popping off. None of these will wound the Ogryn. Next up, we have the 4 of Hearts. And the 4 of Hearts is the Outcast Champion. The Outcast Champion shimmies to the right and tries to get a shot off at the Corpse Grinder through a little bit of cover. He doesn't have to worry about the mask here because the Corpse Grinder is facing away. However, he misses. The 8 of Hearts is up next, and this is our Rattling Champion now. The Rattling Champion decides to take a move action, climbing up to get into a better vantage point. We then have the 10 of Hearts. The 10 of Hearts goes to our Gene Stealer Cult Acolyte in the center here, who decides to go for an 8-inch move jog in towards the squat Venator. The 6 of Diamonds is the card drawn next, and this one is allocated to our Nomad Watcher. The Nomad Watcher takes a move forward and then shoots into the back of the Helot Cult Champion here with his shock pistol and misses on a 2, triggering an ammo check. The ammo check is failed. The Jack of Diamonds is next, and the Jack of Diamonds is our Vansar Archaeotech. Our Vansar lass takes a move forwards and at maximum range uses her 2 rapid fire las subcarbine into the back Redemptionist Deacon, hitting twice and triggering an ammo check here. The ammo check is good for now, and 1 of these will wound the Redemptionist Deacon, who saves it with a 6 up on the armor. However, he does go pinned. He's more than half an inch away from the edge, so he will not fall. The 5 of Hearts is next, and this is our Subjugator Sergeant. The Subjugator Sergeant decides to take a move action into the center of the tile and aim his stub gun at close range at the Outcast Champion, hitting with a 4 but triggering an ammo check here, and he is out of ammo on his stub gun. He also fails to wound, and that is that for the Enforcer. Next up, we have the Ace of Hearts. The Ace of Hearts is our Redemptionist Deacon, who stands up on the top of the building here and shoots his auto gun off into the Vansar in retaliation. He hits once, pinning the Vansar champion in the center of the gangway, but fails to wound. The Cherub then repositions in front of his master. We then have the 9 of Hearts. The 9 of Hearts goes to the Spira, who gets 2 activations this turn. She decides to shimmy back and shoot her paired web incisors into the Escher Death Maiden. We hit with a 5 here, triggering no ammo rolls. This is web, so if it wounds on a 5 here, which it does, the Death Maiden counts as webbed and for all other purposes seriously injured. Not a good start for the Escher. The 10 of Diamonds is next, and that goes to our Goliath Stimmer. Now he is in a bad position, so he's decided to make a move action all the way to the bottom of this building, jumping the last inch, dropping down onto the gangway. The 3 of Diamonds is the last to go in turn 1, and this of course is our Malstrain Gene Stealer. Now the Malstrain Gene Stealer can get a charge off here if he rolls a 3 on the D3, however a 4 is rolled and he stops just an inch out of charge range. We have the second activation for the Spira now, and of course she decides to take the coup de grace on the Escher Death Maiden, and that is a power player removed from this turn. Watch out for Spirers. At the end of this turn, we have our roll for Articles of Faith. A 1 is rolled, but we can re-roll this with the Cherub, and we don't get a dice for Articles of Faith. Now it's time for the Nachtgul to come onto this game. I'm going to number each side of this board, 1 to 4, and use a D8 to see which side he comes on. 1, 2 at the bottom, 3, 4 on the left, 5, 6 at the top, and 7, 8 on the right here. And we get a 3, meaning he will come on the left side of the board. I'm going to place him on a board edge just behind the shrine here, coming in behind the Gene Stealer. Well, that was a particularly violent first turn in a game of Necromunda, but with 22 armed to the teeth champions, of course, this was going to be the way of it. Pretty unexpected so far. We have 2 of our house champions out in House Orlok and House Escher, as well as our Beastman Venator as well. Some of the best champions in the game went out in turn 1 here, just due to being a little bit unlucky. However, we move on and we see what happens in turn 2. The first one to go is going to be the Jack of Hearts. The Jack of Hearts is our squat Exomaster. The Exomaster takes a charge in at versatile range, swinging his hammer to smash the brains out of the Ogryn down on the floor. With 3 attacks, 1 of them will go through. Strength 5 against Toughness 5, and this will not go through with a 2, a huge miss for the Exomaster. Next up, we have the Ace of Hearts. Redemptious Deacon is the next to go, and he comes to the edge here and shoots down into the back of the Exomaster. Rolling a 5 to hit and triggering an ammo check, this will get the squat with 1 shot. The ammo check is good, the squat Exomaster is pinned. Wounding on a 5 here, this will go through. The Exokin gets a 5-up save here, and he fails, taking a wound for his troubles. Next up is the 10 of Hearts. Gene Stealer Cult Acolyte is a bit of a mental case, so he decides to take a move action into the squat because he just doesn't care. Next up, we have the 6 of Diamonds. This will go to our Nomad Watcher, who takes an ammo check to try and reload his pistol, failing with a 1. As it is a simple action, he then decides to reload his pistol, again rolling a 1 and a wasted turn for the Nomad. We then have the 6 of Hearts. 6 of Hearts is the House Hunt champion now. Shooting the Stimmer at close range, hitting on a 2, he gets a 5 with 2 shots. Nerves of Steel triggered here with a whopping cool of 4+. He rolls a 7 and remains standing regardless. 2 wound rolls now, wounding on a 5, and neither one of these scratches the Stimmer. The second activation from the Venator is to retreat, of course, away from the Stimmer. We have the 3 of Diamonds next. And this will go to the Malstrain Gene Stealer. Malstrain Gene Stealer takes a charge into the poor, downed and wounded Ogryn on the ground here, giving him a chance to fight back should he survive the onslaught. 5 attacks with 2 different weapons here, the Claws and the Fangs. These will be hitting on 3s, and only 2 of them go through. Rolling to wound, 4 on the black and 5 on the white, and neither of these will go through, and this is a huge moment in the game so far. The Ogryn gets to fight back with his great swords here, 3 attacks hitting on 3s, and of course 3 of them will go through. Wounding on 3s as well, and 3 of these will go through. This is huge. 6 is needed on 3 saves now for the Gene Stealer, and of course none of these are saved. However, we do have 6-up invuln dodges here, and none of these are made either, meaning that the Gene Stealer is beheaded and eviscerated with 2 great swords. And would you believe it, the Malstrain Gene Stealer is out of the game in only turn 2. Next up is the 10 of Diamonds. The 10 of Diamonds is the Goliath Stimmer, who moves forwards and takes a stub gun shot down into the Venator Hunt champion. Hitting on a 2, he will miss, of course. Goliath's not known for their shooting. We then have the 7 of Hearts to go next. The Ogryn Hunt champion, who just cleaved in half a Malstrain Gene Stealer in a reaction attack, now gets to go in his own turn. Now he's already at versatile range, so he can swing his swords without even needing to charge onto the Exomaster here. A fight action now, 2 of these will hit on 3s, wounding on 3s, and 1 of them will go through the Exomaster. The Exomaster now needs to roll a 6 at -1 AP, and he fails to save it. Sever is triggered, and the Exomaster is out as well. The Ogryn gaining his second quickening marker. The Ogryn now movement 7 base. His next action is to move towards the bridge underneath the Redemptionist Deacon. We then have the 4 of diamonds. A rather cheeky charge move here. The Hellic Cultist decides to use his versatile range on the Chain Glaive to smash the head in of the Spira down below. With 2 attacks only, hitting on 3s here, one of them will go through. Wounding on 3s here, I believe, and a 4 will do it. No save can be made at -2 AP. This will be 2 damage, so we roll 1 injury dice on the Spira. And this will be a serious injury. Nice one, Helot. A typically fitting and cheeky move from the Helot champion. Next up, it's the 2 of diamonds. And this will go to the Ogryn underboss, who decides to stand up and chuck a blasting charge at close range into the space behind the Bad Zone Sergeant. Now this is going to be hitting on 6s. It could bounce and scatter anywhere, but you know, why not? Rolling to hit, and it's a 4, so this will scatter from the spot now. Oh no, and 5 inches back the way it came will mean that it definitely catches the Ogryn and probably the Enforcer in the process. Straight on the noggin, but also catching the Enforcer Sergeant in the blast now. Both of these fighters will go prone now. The ammo check on the blasting charge is failed, so that's it for the game now. At strength 5, -1 AP and 2 damage, will be wounding the Enforcer on a 3, and he is okay. Wounding the Ogryn on a 4 here, and it will not do it either. Still, a pretty funny moment. Next up, the 7 of diamonds, and this will go to our Delac Nachtghoul. The Nachtghoul goes for a rather long jog of 12 inches into cover, just to gain a better understanding of the battlefield. The Ace of Diamonds is up next. This will go to our Bad Zone Sergeant. Electing to use his salvo rounds now at close range into the Ogryn. Rolling a 1 and an ammo check, that certainly won't do it, but the ammo check is good. Next up is the 3 of hearts, goes to the Squat Hunt champion. The Squat pivots on the spot and levels his bolt gun at close range into the Genestealer Acolyte, hitting on 2s but triggering an ammo check and only 2 shots. 2 wound rolls and one of these goes through. Now with only 1 wound and 2 damage, however, the Genestealer Acolyte has the True Grit skill, meaning that this will only be 1 damage. And the injury dice is just a flesh wound. A narrow escape for the Genestealer Acolyte. The Squat champion then rolls around the corner and ignores the Genestealer Acolyte on the ground. Next up, the 4 of hearts. The Outcast champion decides to stand and level his bolt gun at close range into the Subjugator now. He's going to be hitting on 3s here, and he will do it for 1 shot. Wounding on a 3 on the Enforcer Sergeant, and that will also go through. A save to be made with the shield in front, and of course he does it, but goes prone for his troubles. Next up, we have the 9 of hearts, and this will go to our seriously injured Spira. Now all the Malkadon can do here is crawl away, and we then have the 5 of diamonds, who goes back to the Corpse Grinder. The Corpse Grinder, taking advantage that the Enforcer Subjugator Sergeant is on the ground and pinned, will then charge straight into him. Corpse Grinders do not like cops. Some blue on blue action now, as we have 6 attacks from the paired heavy chain cleavers coming in. Without clear line of sight, we're at -1 to hits here, and 6 attacks go through on 3s. All of these will be wounding on 3s, and only 1 of them doesn't go through, triggering a whopping 10 damage with Sever. Are any of these saved? 3 saves are made using the shield here, but 2 of these will go through for 4 damage and Sever. The cop is now out of the game, and we get another quickening token for the Corpse Grinder and another bunch of movement through Slaughterborn. He then follows up with a consolidation move. We then have the 8 of Hearts. The 8 of Hearts is the Rattling champion. Moving forward to get a really good position for shooting in this game, he then takes a shot at the Redemptionist Deacon. He will hit on a 3, but he'll trigger an ammo check on his hotshot lasgun, and he is out of ammo in his first shot. Now the Deacon can use once per turn his Cherub to transfer the hit and all of its effects onto the Cherub. So the Cherub now will take the effects of this shot. Wounding the Cherub with a 6 easily. The Cherub now has an invuln save, and he makes it with a 5 up, still going prone. Next up we have the Jack of Diamonds, and that will be the Vansar Archaeotech. Vansar Archaeotech stands and then shoots into the Deacon from another angle. Hitting on 2s here with the superb accuracy, we get 3 shots and another ammo check. 4+ on the ammo, and the pistol is out. 3 shots wounding on 4s, and 1 of them goes through. Deacon is pinned and makes his mesh armor save. Does he fall from the top here though? An initiative roll. And he is good. Going back to earlier, we failed to do the ammo check on the squat, so we'll do that now. He rolls a 3, so he's out of ammo. However, we do have the munitioneer skill, re-rolling into a success. All the Spyro can do at the end of this turn is crawl again. Recovery roll to be made on the Spyro, and it is a serious injury, and she gets a flesh wound and stays in the same condition. Articles of Faith for the Deacon. Hitting a 5, we don't get it. Re-rolling with the Cherub, and we don't get it there either. Into turn 3, some interesting developments over on the right here. We have the Venator champion facing off against a Stimmer. The Escher Death Maiden taken out. The Spyro looking like she is going too. The Helot doing very well there. An out of ammo Nomad, who is not impacting the game too much at the moment. Over on the other side of the table, we have the Ogryn facing off against the Bad Zone Sergeant in all sorts of calamity. Up top, the Vansar Archaeotech is out of ammo, and down below her we have the Rapid Corpse Grinder, who's been man of the match so far. Through the middle we have our Outcast Sergeant and also the Ogryn with the 2 Scimitars under the bridge. We have a pinned Deacon and Cherub on the top there. The Squat Venator, who's also done very well, is not out of ammo as well, using Munitioneer earlier. The Gene Stealer Cult Acolyte definitely not doing too well in this one so far. Over on the bottom left, we have the Nachtgul getting into the game. The Rattling Sniper, who is now out of ammo with his Hotshot Lasgun. We now have another 3 out-of-action fighters in this game. Would you believe it? The Malstrain Gene Stealer taken out in a counter-attack. We have the Enforcer, Subjugator Sergeant taken out by an Angry Corpse Grinder, and of course the Exomaster also taken out by an Angry Ogryn earlier as well. Is this going the way that you thought it would? Again, there can be only one. Let's have a look at turn 3. And the first to go in turn 3 is the 7 of Diamonds. And of course the 7 of Diamonds goes to our Dalak Nachtgul. Sneaking around in the shadows, he decides to go for another move action, a whopping 12 inches into cover to try and get the drop on the out of ammo Rattling. Up next we have the 4 of Diamonds, and this will go to our Helot Disciple. The Helot Disciple decides to rub further salt in the wound of the Spyro by taking a charge action here. At versatile range, he will get in, using his Chain Glaive for the second time on the same fighter. 2 attacks here, and both of these will go through. These are now going to be wounding on 2s, and both of them will go through as well. Again, no save here, and 4 damage. With 4 damage, the Spyro is out of action, and I think nobody will miss her. She played her part though, taking out the Death Maiden early on. Next up we have the 10 of Hearts. He hasn't learned his lesson. The Gene Stealer Cult Acolyte stands and moves in behind the Squat. Up next we have the 8 of Hearts, and this will go to our Rattling Sniper. Aiming to reload here, he successfully reloads his Hotshot Lasgun. He'll take a shot at the Ogryn now, hitting on a 3 at long range and missing and triggering yet another ammo check. Not much of a sniper so far. 4 up ammo roll is good, however. Next up, the 5 of Diamonds, and it's the scary Corpse Grinder to go next. With a movement of about 15 or something, we are taking a giant charge action into the Outcast Champion. With 6 attacks, 3 of them go through. Out of the 3, only 2 of them wound. With 2 saves of a 6 up, one of them's actually made. And 2 damage with Sivir is not actually enough to take out the Outcast Champion due to his mutation having vast bulk and an extra wound. So only 1 wound. He now gets to hit back, but first he's got to pass a willpower check of an 8+, which he succeeds. He passed his willpower check. We have 2 flails and a stub gun attack now, hitting twice. The stub gun fails to wound. The flail does wound. The Corpse Grinder fails the save and gains a wound for his troubles. Massive moment for the Outcast Champion here. The next one to go is the 3 of Hearts. This time electing to use the Ironhead stub gun and getting 4 shots with it. 4 shots wounding on 3s now. 3 of these will go through. Hazard suit saves to be made here. 1 of them will be saved. Straight to injury with True Grit, we get to roll twice and choose. And 2 identical serious injuries. Of course, we're taking the serious injury. Second action is to move towards the center of the board, leaving the Acolyte bleeding out. We then have the 4 of Hearts. The 4 of Hearts is now the Outcast Champion, locked in combat with the Corpse Grinder. Needing an 8, he does it again. Now I did get things wrong in the first reaction attack. He does only have one attack, so I take that one back. However, it didn't actually impact the fight too much. But now one attack with the flail and one attack with the stub gun. Both of these will hit and the ammo is good. Stub gun fails to wound here and the flail also fails to wound. The corpse grinder then gets to react. Only 3 attacks this time, not using paired because no charge. 2 of these will go through. These will be wounding on 3s. 1 of them will go through. Wounding on 2s and both of them will go through. 2 6-up saves to be made and they both fail for 4 damage with 7 now. And we have a dead croc. Next up we have the 6 of diamonds. And this will be our Nomad Watcher. Aiming to reload his pistol, he succeeds. He then takes a shot at the Helot Disciple. Needing a 3+ to hit, he triggers shock on the pistol, meaning an auto wound. We have an armor save of mesh armor which fails, and the Helot Disciple takes a wound. Next up we have the Jack of Diamonds, which goes to the Vansar Archaeotech. The Vansar Princess then tries to reload her pistol and succeeds. She then takes a shot into the prone and -1 to hit Deacon. Hitting on 3s, she will miss with a whopping 6 shots. What a huge opportunity. Next up we have the 7 of Hearts. And this will be the Ogryn Hunt Champion. The Ogryn is 10 inches away and able to charge here should he get lucky. Reason being is that he has 2 quickening markers. And he fails the charge to get in range here, just making it to stand in front of the squat with the scary bolt gun. Next up we have the 10 of Diamonds. And this will go to the Goliath Stimmer, who gets the drop and charges in on the Venator Champion. We get plus D3 attacks. With the combat stims, he gets 2 extra attacks now. 6 attacks with the Renderizer Serrated Axe, hitting on 2s. All but 1 will go through, wounding on 2s, and 4 of them go through. 6s on the mesh armor saves, and these will all go through to injury. He takes a wound and the remaining 3 damage are completely not survivable, so we have a kill for the Goliath Stimmer, who then consolidates down into the tile. Next up, the Ace of Diamonds, which is the Bad Zone Sergeant. Using salvo rounds at close range, hitting on 3s and 1 of them goes through. Wounding on 5s and it's no good. Does trigger knockback however, and then his second action is to move further away. Next up we have the Ace of Hearts, and this will be the Redemptionist Deacon, who stands on the spot and pings off his auto gun into the Vansar. Hitting on 3s with 2 shots, these 2 going through on 4s. 1 of them goes through, triggering an armor save. 4-up save here fails and a wound is taken on the Vansar Champion. The Cherub then stands and moves over in front of the Deacon. Last up it's the 2 of Diamonds, and we know who's going to be last here. And it's the Ogryn Underboss. Without any grenades, he stands and moves ominously towards the Bad Zone Sergeant that he hates so much. At the end of this turn, we have recovery for the Gene Stealer Acolyte. Unstoppable doesn't work, so we keep the flesh wound. And the recovery roll is a flesh wound, so he is back in the game and only flesh wounded twice with only 1 toughness. At the end of this turn, we have another 3 fighters out, so 9 fighters out in 3 turns. We have the Venator Hunt Champion, the Shooty Hunt Champion, the Spyro, which I think most people are surprised by at this stage, and the Brave Outcast Champion with his 3 wounds, putting a wound onto the Corpse Grinder in a massive moment of melee there. Looking around the board here, down below on the left we have the Nazgul looking to make prey of the Rattling Sniper. Rattling Sniper himself not doing too well in this game so far. Up on the far left corner we have the wounded Vansar Champion up on the bridge. The Corpse Grinder with his whopping 3 quickening tokens and tons of movement. I think he's probably about root movement 18 or something at the moment. I've lost count already, honestly. We have our Redemptionist Deacon and his Cherub at the top there. The failed charge from the Ogryn facing off against the squat with the Bolter. Amazingly, the Acolyte has survived here, but by the skin of his teeth with only 1 toughness remaining. And over on the right, we have the Stimmer, who's doing absolutely fine, trying to make his way back into the game. We have a wounded and pinned Helot now as well, who did well to get rid of the Spyro that turn. The Nomad making his way into the game. And of course, the Bad Zone Sergeant facing off against this Ogryn for the entire game so far. Starting off in turn 4, we have the 8 of Hearts. And it's going to be the Ratling that goes first. The Ratling champion then pings off a shot at the Deacon, hitting on a 3 now. It doesn't wound the Cherub, but it does pin the Cherub. However, the Ratling has fast shot, so he's going to take another one. This time, the Deacon cannot be protected by his Cherub. Again, needing a 3 to hit. This will hit, but triggers another ammo check. The ammo is good. The wound roll is good. The Deacon is pinned. The armor save of 6 up is unsuccessful. Does he fail the initiative check here? He does not, but a wound is taken on the Deacon. Next up, we have the Jack of Diamonds. Jack of Diamonds is the Vansar Architect, who has been wounded. The Architect stands and plugs another shot into the Deacon this time. This time hitting with 6 shots. Ouch. 6 wound rolls to be made here against a wounded Deacon. No Cherub used. 5 of these go through, triggering mesh armor saves on all. 2 of them are made, but this will be 3 damage on the Deacon. Can the Deacon survive here? He certainly can't, with a skull, a serious injury and a flesh wound, and he is the first casualty on this turn. The Vansar Architect gains a quickening marker for +1 movement. Next to go is the Ace of Diamonds. It's the Bad Zone Sergeant, electing to use salvo rounds here, missing and triggering an ammo check as well. Oof. The ammo runs out on the combat shotgun. His next activation is to try and retreat from the Ogryn, and he just can't shake him so far in this game. We then have the 7 of Diamonds, and this will go to the Nachtghoul. The Nachtghoul needs anything but a 1 here. He uses Clamber to charge up into the back of this poor Ratling sniper, getting there easily and charging into the back with his Serpent's Fangs. With 6 attacks hitting on 3s because of the line of sight on the charge, 4 of them will go through, and these will be wounding on 2s with Phase and Rending. All 4 of these will wound the poor Ratling. Absolutely no save can be made here, and the Ratling is toast. No second breakfast for the Ratling in this one. Quickening token to the already rapid Nachtghoul. Next up is the 5 of Diamonds, which goes to our second scary fighter, the Corpse Grinder Cutter. A huge charge here into the Ogryn, and we get colossal combat between 2 very big boys. The Ogryn and the Corpse Grinder, 6 attacks hitting on 3s, and only 2 of these will go through. Wounding on 3s, and we come up with nipples. This is a huge moment. The Corpse Grinder, so scary early on in this game, has now massively flopped here. Wowzers. Now, due to the Corpse Grinder mask and the low willpower of the Ogryn, can he actually hit back here? Nope. The next is the 10 of Diamonds. And this is the Goliath Stimmer. The Goliath Stimmer takes a move action to move through the door in towards the Acolyte. We then have the 2 of Diamonds. Now it's the Ogryn Underboss. Can he pass his willpower check to punch out a Corpse Grinder? Needing a 9+, he gets a 10. This is awesome. 2 attacks with the Augmetic Fist and 1 with the Maul. 1 of each will go through here. Fist wounding on 2s and Maul wounding on 3s here. Maul doesn't go through, but the Augmetic Fist certainly does. Now this will trigger knockback into the bulkhead for extra damage should this save not be made. At -1 AP, this is not saved. For the extra 1 damage, we now roll 3 injury dice, and the Corpse Grinder is a goner. A quickening token for the Ogryn now as he moves in towards the center of the board rather ominously. Now at movement 6. Next we have the 7 of Hearts. Is the Ogryn Hunt Champion, charging in to attack the squat with his 2 greatswords. And of course all 4 of them will hit. Wounding on 3s now. And all of them miss. 4 1s rolled. I don't know what the odds of this are, but it is definitely a huge moment for the squat as he somehow survives the onslaught from 2 greatswords in the hands of an Ogryn. Are you not entertained, people? Next up is the 4 of Diamonds. It's the Helot Disciple's turn to stand up and move in towards the action. We then have the 6 of Diamonds, and this will be the Nomad Watcher. The Nomad feels like the Ogryn is slightly higher risk, seeing that the Sergeant is out of ammo on his shotgun, so he levels his pistol and takes a shot at the Ogryn now. Needing a 2 at +1 to hit at short range, he will hit. Pinning the Ogryn, we're going to wound on 5s, and this will fail. Next activation is to climb over the pipe and move away. We then have the 3 of Hearts, and this will be the Squat Hunt Champion. Point blank into the Ogryn with the bolter. 3 shots at close range now. These are all going to be wounding on 5s. 1 of these will go through. We have a -1 on the save here, which is not made. For 2 damage with 2 remaining wounds, we have 1 injury dice to make here. And it is a flesh wound, the Ogryn narrowly surviving. The Squat Venator's next activation is to move away. Lastly, we have the 10 of Hearts, and this will be the Genestealer Cult Acolyte, who stands and moves towards the Stimmer. And at the end of this turn, we have another 3 fighters going out, 3 each turn so far. We have the Redemptionist Deacon with his Cherub Pet out. We also have the Corpse Grinder, who was probably the scariest fighter in this so far, getting up to a huge amount of movement. I'd love to know in the comments how much movement he actually had through Slaughterborn and those extra markers there. I actually lost count in the end. And also the poor little Rattling Venator taken out by the Nachtghoul coming from the shadows. Taking a look around the board now, we have the Stimmer and Acolyte facing off down the bottom, depending on who gets priority. The Helot is still in it and wounded. The Ogryn on the ground, double wounded and flesh wounded, but still in it. We then have the indomitable Squat Venator, who's been really solid in this game with his bolt gun. The Nachtghoul so far completely unscathed and lurking around in the shadows. We also still have the wounded Vansar Archaeotech up on the bridge and away from a lot of the action now. Meanwhile, the Nomad Watcher is slightly out of the way of the conflict between the Bad Zone Sergeant and the Ogryn Underboss too. And the first to go in this turn is the 4 of Diamonds. And this will be the Helot Disciple. The ever cheeky Disciple moves forwards now and uses his Hand Flamer to spray the Ogryn and the Squat in one motion. Catching both in the blast, we now roll for Wound and Blaze. Rolling to wound, we wound the Ogryn with the black dice, but fail to wound the Squat. Both of these will be pinned if they're not pinned already. A save to be made on the Ogryn. Flak armor, he will actually save it. However, are we on fire, guys? The Ogryn has escaped the blaze, but the Squat is now on fire. Next up, we have the 2 of Diamonds, which will be the Ogryn Underboss. Now, all the Ogryn Underboss can do is stand up and move towards his enemy. We then have the Jack of Diamonds, and this will be the Archaeotech. The Archaeotech with +1 movement then takes a move down the stairs in towards the action. After that, we have the 6 of Diamonds, and this will be the Nomad. The cheeky Nomad, seeing the situation evolve between these two, is now going to take a shot off at the Bad Zone Enforcer. However, he misses with his shock pistol. The Nomad then takes a move away further. Next up is the 10 of Hearts. And now we have the Genestealer Acolyte taking a charge action against the Goliath Stimmer. Only 2 attacks hitting on 3s, and both of these hit with the Heavy Rock Cutter. Brutus the Beefcake with his strength +4 here is now wounding on 3s. It doesn't matter, this Goliath's toughness 5. Strength 7, and both of these will go through. At -4 AP, there is nothing surviving the Heavy Rock Cutter. I don't think there's any way the Goliath can survive this, but we're going to roll the dice anyway. And that is 4 serious injuries. The Genestealer Acolyte, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, takes the coup de grace. Who'da thunk it? And the toughness 1 Acolyte gains a quickening marker. Next up is the Ace of Diamonds, and this will be the Bad Zone Sergeant. Now he's out of ammo, and he doesn't want to risk reloading here, so he takes a move to try and get out of range of the Ogryn. Next up is the 7 of Diamonds. And this will be the Nachtghoul. The Nachtghoul, using his Clamber skill, takes a climb action for a move all the way over the top of these here buildings onto the other side. Next up, we have the 3 of Hearts. This will be the Squat Hunt Champion, who is on fire. Does he take damage here? He doesn't take any damage. He stands up, moves 2d6 in a random direction. 9 inches, but straight into the wall that he's standing next to anyway. He goes prone and needs to roll a 4+ to put out the blaze. Does he put them out? He certainly does. Lastly, the 7 of Hearts is pulled, and this will be the Ogryn Hunt Champion. Now, the Helot didn't think that the Ogryn would survive this, so the Ogryn Hunt Champion stands and uses a fight action with both of his scimitars to try and slice the Helot in half. At versatile range, we have 3 attacks hitting on 2s. 2 of these going through. 2 mesh armor saves of a 6-up. Sivir kicks in, and the Helot is out of the game. A 3rd quickening for the Ogryn. Mistake made here as the Ogryn is taking a third action for some reason, moving in front of the squat. At the end of that turn, only 2 fighters went out. The Helot at the end there due to the 2 greatswords, and the Stimmer getting cut in half by Brutus the Barber Beefcake. What a cool story so far. A look around the board now, Brutus himself down the bottom with his heavy rock cutter, still in the game with only 1 toughness. Through the middle we have the Ogryn and the Squat facing off against each other. The Nachtgul looking to get in on the action next turn. The Vansar Architect making her way into the centre of the board. Bad Zone Sergeant retreating from the Ogryn, still out of ammo. The pissed off Ogryn who took out the Corpse Grinder back in the game and making his way towards this Bad Zone Sergeant every single turn. And lastly, the Nomad Watcher again making his way round into the centre of the board. As we head toward the end of the game now, we have the Jack of Diamonds, and this will be the Vansar Architect. Moving 5 inches with her extra movement and then shooting into the back of the Ogryn now. Shooting into the back of the Ogryn, we hit with 3 shots and an ammo check. The ammo is good, however. The Ogryn is pinned and these will be wounding on 5s. One of these goes through. Save is not made. Straight to injury and the Ogryn is now seriously injured. Next up we have the 6 of Diamonds, and this will be the Nomad Watcher. Taking a move action to get into a better position, the Nomad Watcher advances. We then have the 10 of Hearts. This will be the Genestealer Acolyte, who also takes a jog into the centre of the board. Next is the Ace of Diamonds, and this will be the Bad Zone Sergeant. Aiming to reload, and he succeeds. Taking a salvo shot into the Ogryn now. And missing with 3 shots, absolutely awful. 2 of Diamonds goes over to the Ogryn Underboss. He's out of charge range, so he takes a move in again towards the Bad Zone Sergeant. We then have the 7 of Diamonds, and this will be the Nachtgul. The Nachtgul, playing cautiously, just takes a move action into cover away from the Vansar. We then have the 3 of Hearts, and this is the Squat Hunt Champion. The Squat is no longer on fire, so he stands and close range, point blank, pumps his bolt gun into the Ogryn. Hitting for 3 shots, wounding on 4s now, and 2 of these will go through. And we have a dead Ogryn. Only 1 fighter out in that round, and it was the brave Venator Ogryn, who was a lot of fun, I have to say, with those 2 greatswords. Things heading towards the end of the game here as everybody converges towards the centre of the board. We have the Nachtgul looking very ominous and creepy. The Vansar Architect, those are the only 2 house champions so far. The Squat Venator champion through the middle, who's been very scary, gaining another quickening marker. We have the Acolyte, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the Nomad champion, the Bad Zone Enforcer Sergeant, and the remaining Ogryn too. Is this what you expected, guys? The 6 of Diamonds up in this turn, and that will start things off with the Nomad Watcher. The Nomad Watcher, seeing the Acolyte wounded and bleeding out, decides to make a charge action for his first close combat of the game. 4 attacks, 2 with the long blade and 2 with the mono hook, and all of these will hit. All of these will be wounding on 2s, and 3 of them go through, 1 on the sword and 2 with the mono hook. Taking out the brave Brutus the Barber Beefcake. The Nomad then takes a consolidation into cover. His first kill of the game, gaining a quickening marker. Next up, the Ace of Diamonds. This will be the Bad Zone Sergeant again. I somehow failed to record the actual roll here, but we got 6 shots with the Shredder ammo from the Bad Zone Sergeant onto the Ogryn. These are all going to be wounding on 6s. And none of them will go through, but we do pin the Ogryn. The Bad Zone Enforcer still retreating from this Ogryn all game. And facing off against the Nomad now. These 3 all playing cat and mouse for the entire game so far. We then have the 2 of Diamonds. This goes to the Ogryn Underboss, who still can't do much apart from stand and move towards the Bad Zone Sergeant. The 3 of Hearts, Squat Hunt Champion. Now the Dalak is 9 inches away. The Vansar is 10 inches away. But the Bad Zone Sergeant is actually the closest target, so the Squat is going to aim for him. Bolt gun at close range, hitting on 2s. Hitting with a 3 with 2 shots, triggering an ammo check. The ammo check is good, however. Amazing value, this Squat bolt gun. 2 wound rolls of 3s here, and neither will go through. The Bad Zone Sergeant very lucky in this whole game so far. The next action from the Squat is to move around the corner into cover. Next up, the 7 of Diamonds, and this will go to the Dalak Nachtgul. He doesn't even need to roll the D3 here. He is in there like swimwear on the Vansar Architect. Dalak on Vansar action now with 6 attacks with the Serpent Fangs. Now these will be hitting on 3s due to charging around a corner, and 5 of them will go through. At +2 strength, these will be wounding on 2s, and 4 of them go through. No save due to phase. This goes straight through the armor and severs the poor Vansar Architect, and she is out of the game. The last remaining house member is that of Delac. Consolidation from the Nachtigall now into a better position, and he gains another quickening marker, bringing him up to movement 8. And at the end of that turn, we have 2 more fighters out of action. Brutus the Barber Beefcake with his giant heavy rock cutter is finally out of the game, as well as the rather shooty and quite effective Vansar Architect. And here is a great little shot of the duel between the Ogryn and the Bad Zone Sergeant for the duration of this game. Will the Ogryn finally catch up to his victim? Let's wait and see. As we have a look around the board, the squat putting in absolute work with the bolt gun so far, and so far remaining unscathed as well. The Nachtigall, of course, being very scary and still very much in this game. We have the Ogryn and the Bad Zone Sergeant, as well as the Nomad, still unscathed in this game so far. Only 5 fighters remaining. And first to go in this turn is going to be number 7, and this will be the Nachtigall to kick things off now. The move of a whopping 16 inches, he takes a big run and then climbs over using the clamber skill into a better hidden position, aiming to outflank the squat. The Ace of Diamonds is next. Bad Zone Sergeant again doing his thing, standing up and using his shotgun at close range on this Ogryn that just will not leave him alone. This time going for salvo rounds for the extra damage. He hits and triggers knockback with 1 shot. It's not enough to kill the Ogryn, but it does wound. 6-up save is failed and 2 wounds go through on this Ogryn, down to 1 wound now. Next up, the 6 of Diamonds, and this will be the Nomad Watcher. The Nomad decides to risk it for a biscuit and charge into the back of the Bad Zone Sergeant, hitting on 4s with the mono hook and 3s with the sword. 3 of these will go through. Wounding on 3s and 4s, none of these will go through, and the Bad Zone Enforcer turns around and gets to fight back now. Now we'll be hitting on 5s with the power knife and his stub gun. The stub gun misses and triggers an ammo check. The power knife does go through. The stub gun is out of ammo. The power knife can't be parried. It will wound, and this will go straight through to a wound on the Nomad. We then have the 2 of Diamonds. And again, the Ogryn underboss can't really do anything other than stand up and move into the board. Lastly, we have the 3 of Hearts, and this will go to the squat Venator, I believe. His first action is to roll around the corner and then unload with his second action, shooting his bolt gun into both the Nomad and the Bad Zone Sergeant in close combat. Needing only a 2 to hit here, he gets 4 shots and splits them between both targets, 2 each. Black for the Nomad, and 2 wounds go through on the Sergeant and only 1 on the Nomad. 1 save for the Nomad is not made. The Bad Zone Enforcer doesn't make a save either. 4 damage on the Bad Zone Sergeant and 2 on the Nomad. The 2 damage on the Nomad, only flesh wounds, so he's still in the game at only toughness 1. And 3 serious injuries on the Bad Zone Sergeant, and he is pretty much out of the game. Seriously injured, wounded, and double flesh wounded. At the end of this turn, we've got recovery to be made on the Bad Zone Sergeant. He cannot survive, he cannot gain any assistance, so he is out of the game. A brave performance from the Bad Zone Sergeant. And at the end of that turn, only the Bad Zone Sergeant is out. He was pretty great in that game. He failed a lot, but he survived a lot too. We are down to the last 4 fighters now as we take a look around the board. The Nomad wounded and double flesh wounded. The Ogryn down to his last little bit of wounds as well. We then have the creepy Nachtigall with his +2 movement, hiding in the shadows, ready to get the drop on the squat. The squat as well doing enormously well in this game with his 2 quickening markers as well. In this turn, 7 of Diamonds goes first. And that, of course, will be the Nachtigall. The Nachtigall with his +2 movement and clamber takes a charge over the wall into the back of the squat. Does the squat finally get his comeuppance? 6 attacks hitting on 3s now, and 5 of them go through. Wounding on 3s and 4 of them go through. 3 damage with phase, and the squat is coup de grace. Now it really does depend on priority here. This is a big one. And we get the 2 of Diamonds. And it's the Ogryn. The Ogryn decides to charge the Nomad. The Nomad stands. 4 attacks, 2 with the fist and 2 with the maul now. All of these hitting on 3s. Only one of the fist will go through here. The augmetic fist can be parried here into a miss. The Nomad then gets 3 attacks back, 2 with the mono hook. Only 1 goes through with the mono hook, and the mono hook does not wound. The last one to go is the Nomad Watcher. Can he finish off the Ogryn? Fighting this time 2 times with the sword and 1 with the mono hook. All 3 of these will hit the Ogryn. All of these wounding on 5s and 2 of them go through. No save on the sword and a save on the mono hook. The 6-up save is made against the mono hook. 1 damage on the sword. Can the Nomad finish off the Ogryn? He certainly can with a serious injury. His second action is the coup de grace. And at the end of this round, we have the Ogryn and the Squat Venator out. Both of them very good in this game. And now we are down to our last 2 fighters, the Dalak Nachtgul and the Nomad Champion, would you believe? Who is going to come out on top of this one? Would you have guessed this at the start? I imagine some people would have put the Nachtgul down, but possibly not the Nomad Watcher. At this point, it really is down to priority, I think, but the Nachtgul certainly having the edge, not even wounded, and at +3 movement. Now, there's only 2 fighters left, so I may as well do a D6 roll here. 1, 2, 3, it's the Nachtgul. 4, 5, 6, it's the Nomad, and it is the Nomad who gets to go first. Should we get lucky on this charge, the Nomad only has this chance to win this game. The Nomad is movement 8 with those 2 tokens, so we can get a possible 11-inch charge in here. As long as he doesn't roll a 1, he rolls a 6, and he is in there. We now have a fight on our hands. The Nomad Watcher against the Nachtgul. Can the Nachtgul survive this and win the game? 4 attacks, 2 of each, and 2 of the mono hooks will go through. 1 of the sword will go through. The mono hook wounding on 3s, the sword on 4s. Only 1 goes through the mono hook now. Does the Nachtgul save it? He certainly doesn't. And this is going to be 2 damage with Pulverize. The Nachtgul takes 1 wound, and this will go through to damage now. And it's a serious injury. The coup de grace coming from the Nomad Watcher. And would you believe it? The Nomad Watcher, not known for their close combat prowess, wins this battle in There Can Only Be One. And in this case, the Highlander is the Nomad Watcher. What a fantastic game. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this, and I hope you did too. I can guarantee nobody had the Nomad down for winning this one, especially with his loadout being much more melee focused. But that is huge, and I think a poetic ending to this when most people would have expected the Nachtgul to win it easily there. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you think. I love doing these sort of narrative battle reports, and this really typifies what is awesome about Necromunda, is that you can do stuff like this. 22 fighters, all against all. This took me 6 hours to record and another 3 or 4 just to edit. So anyway, it's been a long one. Thanks for sticking with me so far. I will be back with another video really soon. Peace out.